in that because the offense can't afford to lose anybody the way they're playing up and down. And, at least we have Brandon Cooks and we have Willie Snead, and then Brandon Coleman would have to step in. Craig Robertson on defense would be a huge loss. I guess I'll go with Craig Robertson.
Okay. And that's what I was thinking.
Thomas.
You're thinking Thomas professional?
Yeah, I'm thinking Thomas, and mainly because it seems to me that if he's not there already, he will become the next poster for this team, where he's that guy that you can go to and he's going to catch the ball. If you throw it to him, he's going to get it. So he's becoming very quickly a very, very important part to the offense, which needs a lot of help at this time with all the turnovers and everything that's been going on in the past month or so. These guys really need those sure hands on the field. So I would think Thomas would be a bigger loss.
How about you, Deuce?
Well, I think it's kind of a toss-up. I understand the point for saying Thomas. He's certainly the best split end, that number one style receiver that we have. But I also think that you can't negate the fact that you got Drew Brees, a Hall of Fame quarterback. I could be out there and he could throw a pass and I could catch it. It's nice to have a Mike Thomas. It's nice to have a Colston in his prime, those type of players. But Brees has shown he really doesn't need him. However, one of the very few bright spots on our defense has been Craig Robertson. So to lose him, I think, would be pretty impactful because if you think about it, we've only got 3 or 4 players who are good run stoppers anyway, and that would be Cam Jordan, Tyler Davis, and Craig Robertson, and Delvin Breaux on the outside is pretty good stopping the run, and maybe Vaccaro if he's in the box. Other than that, there's not too many other guys who are solid against the run. So to miss him, you're already pretty poor in terms of pass defense. I think at that point you would basically just have an open field for offenses to really do whatever they want. So it'd be pretty big for me to lose Craig Robertson. So I got to go with Robertson.
Yeah, and when Robertson was out of the game, Stephon Anthony played very, very suspect. I watched him on a few of those plays. It seems like he did not know exactly what direction to head into. So I think if we lose Robertson, that is a problem.
And because guess what? He's lost his confidence, and he has not played to grow. And so his confidence, the way all of that stuff was handled, and even the stuff that was said in the press, and it's just that now he's going to have to do just like Andrew Speed, suck it up to get all of the outside chatter and get his head back because now he's lost his confidence.
He lost his mojo, right? So that could be a valid point. I mean, we're thinking going into the season, we had a guy who was going to enter his second year leading the team in tackles, that he was just going to mature into the position. But the Saints decided to go and sign Laurinaitis, and that experiment did not work well for the New Orleans Saints, with Laurinaitis now not being even a part of the New Orleans Saints squad. So, yeah, I mean, facing the Buccaneers right now, I think Craig Robertson will be a bigger hit if we could not have him on the field. All right, let's talk a little bit about this, guys. The New Orleans Saints right now, it seems like if we don't have just a good performance against the Bucs, I'm not even saying if we win. If we just don't have a good performance, the season is done for. Would that be safe to say, Professional?
I would say so. Well, I would even take it a step further and say they have to win. I mean, that's mathematically that's almost the deal. But as far as not having a good performance, I think that carries even more weight as far as now you start looking at who you're going to be looking to replace once the season's over. That I think those things come into play if the performance isn't well. You start looking at, okay, they're not cutting the mustard. It may be time for them to get out of here and start looking at other people to replace them.
Okay. And Deuce, I want to throw this at you, man. Looks like Cam Jordan has been performing very well this season. Do you believe what you've seen in the kid rankings gives you a lot of hope?
Well, question kind of confused me because you went one player.
Well, I'm talking about that line as far as the line is concerned.
But yeah, I do. I actually, I've got a film study article coming out on Sheldon Rankins tomorrow for Canal Street Chronicles, and it's not just the way that he's playing that's encouraged me; it's how he's doing it. He's shown a lot of veteran moves. He's shown a pretty solid understanding, and he's got a repertoire that's not just pass rushing. So I think overall I've been pretty impressed. My only concern has to be the fact that I don't want Fairley to leave either just because Rankins is doing so well. And Fairley is going to be a free agent after this year. And Fairley is actually ranked 5th among all defensive tackles in the NFL in sacks. And you don't really imagine Saints players having that type of rankings, but he does. And in the same coin, I got to throw this out there because he deserves it. Sheldon Rankins is tied for the NFL lead right now in sacks for rookie defensive tackles while only playing 5 games. The leader is Collins from Dallas, who's played 12 games this year. So I think that's pretty impressive. Shows how well he's done and how he's adjusting to the NFL and definitely recovered from that broken leg. But, I mean, just to answer your question short and simple, yeah, I think Rankins has done great. He's the prototypical 3-tech. And as you'll see in the article tomorrow, he's able to actually line up in more than just the 3-tech spot. He's able to move around the line, which for the Saints, versatility is key. They want everybody to be versatile, and he certainly has that.
Yeah, that was pretty good when he was on the end, and he put a lot of pressure on Stafford that time, and he made a good play. So it is good to see what we have in the young man. And I have to agree with you as far as Fairley is concerned. Right now, if I was Mickey Loomis, I would be trying to put together an offer for this guy.
And see, Kyle, that's the problem with the Saints. This is my problem with Mickey Loomis and Coach Sean Payton. I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if Fairley is gone. I hope it doesn't, but the Saints dibble and dabble and play too many games with people, and they're handling the stuff because you've seen how this man has already accomplished in 12 games. You should be right now doing contracts, getting ready to discuss this because guess what? Other people are going to take note of his performance. It's the same thing right now. You need to be doing an extension with Kenny Vaccaro. You know that Kenny Vaccaro is in his 4th year, and you're exercising an option to see what he do next year, and he'll probably be more willing to sign this year, his contract. The Saints, to me, play around with productive players, and that's why they wind up losing them. They gamble with this stuff, and you've got stability right now with Jordan, Fairley, and Rankins. You need to secure that because that shows you that that's now your line is getting solid up front. You need to, at this time, whatever your contract is with Robinson, I don't know if it's a 2-year or what, you need to give him an extension. You see now, he's a key figure with your linebackers. So the people that are contributing and that are key, you need to go ahead and do some type of extension. You're going to have to do something with Delvin Breaux. I don't know how long Delvin Breaux signed, but I think next year is last year. So these players that are productive, that are helping your team, and they're going to make your defense solid, you need to secure them. You don't need to be waiting and playing around with these guys like this, at all. You might have to secure something with Jari Evans if you're not going to draft another guard in the draft and get Jari back again next year, because your line is kind of securing too. Now we know Zach Street and Jari Evans are not going to be able to play a whole lot longer, but they've played at, Pro Bowl level this year. So the players that are productive, let's go ahead and secure them for 2017, because 2017 may be the year the Saints can, actually make that run, depending on injuries and, a lot of other variables that can go into play, for them. And also, Kyle, I'll be honest with you, I think the Saints season was lost 2 points. I think the Saints season went into spiral with the heartbreak of the Raiders loss. They gained it back, and I think, honestly, with the loss to Denver, the Saints are done, fellas. They're done. They're done for the year. I would love and I hope that I'm wrong, but if we sit here thinking the Saints are going to win straight out, this team is incapable of playing. They're capable, but they have shown the propensity of being incapable of achieving such a task because of the fact they turn the ball over too much. They turn the ball is one thing. The Saints offense turns the ball over too much. The Saints have turned the ball over in 10 of their 12 games, and they have now turned the ball over for 140 games out of 172.
Wow.
That's why you don't have another Super Bowl. Coach Payton has got to shake Drew Brees. He's got to get Mark Ingram, Michael Thomas, Brandon Cooks, Willie Snead, and Hightower. Let them understand. Listen, we can win our games. We cannot afford the turnovers. I understand you have a turnover here and there, but to have 10 turnovers in the last 4 games, I don't think the Saints are that great that all of a sudden now you're going to see the Saints win 4 in a row and there's no turnovers. I mean, they have not won in Arizona since, I think, the 70s. I don't know the last time they won a game in Arizona. Tampa Bay, they always play crazy in Tampa Bay. Now, Atlanta, they usually can beat Atlanta here in Atlanta. So, I don't know. I hope I am totally wrong, and I would be glad to be wrong about this. But when I saw that Denver game, I said their season is over. Because that loss to Denver was so heartbreaking. I just felt that, if they had gotten over the hurdle with Denver, I believe the Saints would have went to Carolina and beat Carolina. And it's just too much to overcome sometimes. That's just my thoughts from my perspective.
Okay, good perspectives, guys. All right, let's kind of go into Tampa Bay. Dudes, I would like for you to kind of break down what the Saints offense will be seeing against the defense of the Tampa Bay Bucs.
Well, I think the tough thing that they're going to have to find defensively when they go into Tampa is, one, it's the dreaded away game, and not necessarily that Drew or anybody falls off, but anytime you play outdoors, the atmosphere is a little bit different. The humidity is going to play a role, and just the fact that the Saints team just doesn't have any momentum behind them right now, I think is going to be a pretty big factor. I do have them winning this game in Tampa. I think specifically what we really have to worry about is the same thing that we just suffered from in the Lions game, is that's the front 7 of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, while not on, say, the Rams level, they certainly have the ability to get pressure. I am worried for Drew because if Drew's under attack, there's really not a lot of chance for New Orleans. He is by far our best player. So no matter how good the receivers are, how good the tight ends are, and for the most part how good our running back stable may be, if Drew's under attack and Drew's under pressure, we're not going to have a good day. And that's just historically true with the New Orleans Saints under Sean Payton. So I think that's the main thing that we have to look out for there. And if you have to do what we didn't do against Detroit, if we have to leave in extra tight ends, we have to leave in extra running backs to block and only send out 2 or 3 receivers, I think that's what we got to do. Rely on guys like Michael Thomas, who hopefully be healthy. I hate to have to say this, rely on Kobe Fleener and rely on Cooks and Snead. We tried to spread the field out a lot last week against Detroit with having the running backs run wheel routes. We had the receivers doing double moves downfield. And we simply did not have enough blockers sometimes, even though we had 5 300-pound guys. You would think that'd be enough, but apparently not. We just didn't have the ability to protect Brees. And if we got to leave, 2 or 3 extra people in, so be it. That's going to be the big worry going against that Tampa defense, though.
All right, good analysis. Professor, what should the Saints defense look forward to against the Tampa Bay Bucs?
I have not followed them a whole lot, but Jameis Winston is doing really well. We have to